Welcome back to WeConnect. Going back to that discussion that I'm having here with Dr. Ajit Kumar, he runs his own global conference management group. Now, you for many years have been involved with the tourism industry, moved away recently into setting up your own outfit. Let's talk about it because it's to deal with conferences and meetings.
Yes, absolutely.
How well is that doing?
Yeah, doing quite well. We handle conferences within India, conferences outside the country, and we also represent a couple of conference organizers in Europe for whom we send delegates from India.
Right. How many conferences, is India a good destination for conferences?
Absolutely. India is emerging as a good MICE destination, yes.
What is MICE?
Meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions.
Okay, big word. So like on an average, would you say how many conferences are actually held in our country for the year?
Globally we don't rate that much as compared to other places like Singapore or Kuala Lumpur or even Tokyo, even in Japan or globally in London, elsewhere. But it is emerging as a MICE destination, and let's say we'll look at about 100 conferences, major ones in a year. Major, I'm talking about say 3,000, 5,000 plus conferences.
That's a huge number, Ajit.
Absolutely.
Do we have the infrastructure to take care, for instance, in Chennai City, of a conference of 3,000 people? Where would you put them? How would you cope?
Sure. Like, for example, Chennai currently has about 2,500 five-star hotel rooms and is adding another 2,500 hotel rooms within a year or two. So we got 5,000 hotel rooms in the five-star segment itself. But when you talk about 5,000 people coming in, it could be, generally I handle a medical conference. We've handled medical conferences with 5,000 people, but then you don't have all the 5,000 people sitting in a hall. You have the major one here is the Chennai Trade Center, where you have a plenary session which starts of the conference and it extends over the 4 days. You have at maximum given time 2,000 people in the hall.
Right. As somebody who runs this kind of outfit that deals with meetings and conferences,
Absolutely.
Is it easy to actually sell Chennai or India as a destination to people who are organizing conferences?
We face a lot of competition with from say for example Bangkok, Thailand, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, the Sri Lanka even. Just now we were bidding for AIDS International Conference and we were shortlisted among the final 3. But then Bangkok has beat us to it. So it is always a question of what is the infrastructure, what are the facilities, of course the academic inputs. Academic inputs wise, our organizing committees have a lot of strength.
Absolutely.
So that is one which takes us to the first 3 shortlistings, but then possibly the rest of the thing comes in and we may lose out.
Right.
But we still have been able to get a lot of major international conferences.
Right. You seem to specialize in a lot of medical conferences from what I know.
Absolutely.
Just wondering if there's any specific reason for that. Is that because we have in Tamil Nadu and in Chennai this amazing pool of medical wisdom? Is that the reason?
Absolutely. The medical fraternity has something called continuing medical education, CMEs they call it. And these are supported also by the pharma industry. And because of the support, we are with, as you said it rightly, the pool of doctors, very talented professionals worldwide. They are most sought after. They are themselves taking the lead to organize these conferences. Recently, we had a cardiology conference which was organized by the Madras Medical Mission, and Dr. Ajit specifically is a leading cardiologist. He can draw faculty from different parts of the world because of his standing. Similarly, there are other people like Dr. V. Mohan, who is a diabetologist in his own right. So that way, as you rightly said, there's a huge pool of medical professionals and whose expertise is required by other medical professionals in different parts.
And of course, Chennai is also a hub for medical tourism. So I would imagine that too plays a part, does it?
Yeah, medical tourism and medical conferences are 2 different things. Medical tourism is where, because our costs are 30% lesser as compared to West, they come in for surgical implants or plastic surgeries, or even you could look at a plain Ayurvedic treatment, rejuvenation. That is medical tourism. Medical tourism per se is growing now, and I think we have 2.5% of global market share in medical tourism.
Right. When you are selling India and Tamil Nadu as a destination for your conferences. Is there anything else that you can actually sell? I mean, when people come to these big conferences, is there time, is there room for anything else to be offered to them?
Absolutely. MICE itself is a big draw for tourism, because after the 3 days or 4 days of deliberations, serious conferencing, they would like to visit the places around.
Chill out.
Chill out. They'd like to go to Mahabalipuram or Pondicherry, or they can even take off to places like Kerala, Goa, Karnataka. So these are pre and post conference tours which are normally done and arranged much before the delegate comes in, because they plan the schedules. So they will say that they would like to come 3 days before and stay and look at these places, and stay 4 days after the conference and
Really?
go to around these places. So we plan the itineraries for them. So tourism is a big part of these conferences which happen.
Right. As an expert in the tourism industry, how much of an involvement and interaction is there between people like yourself and the government powers that be in the tourism department? Are they willing to listen to you? Do they react?
That's quite a question.
Really? You're not answering me, Ajit. That means there is some reticence on your part.
It's not generally that. Maybe they could involve us more in framing policies, in looking at what is the feedback from professionals, tourism professionals like us, my specialists like us, what is required to for the government to act proactively on this sector. That sort of interaction, I could say, would be more welcome.
Right. What about the leading lights in the industry? Have they actually approached the government? Do you know?
There is a constant interaction with the government from tourism industry professionals, various problems that they face. For example, the tax structure for the transportation industry. Each state has its own laws. So you hire a coach, air conditioned coach in Tamil Nadu, you pay a different set of taxes as compared to what is paid in Karnataka. And same, it's a different set of taxes which is in Kerala. So how do you have a uniform policy on these? This is something that the transportation industry people have been breaking their heads over, and there's no solution yet.
Right. Well, time for another very brief break. But when I come back, I'm going to ask Ajit here with me about this uniform tax that he's talking about, and some of the other issues that really are relevant to the tourism industry. So you don't go anywhere, stay right there with us.